What's poppin', everybody? It's your boy SnowyKurama, and we are here for my first ever tier list video. Not only is it my first ever tier list video, but it's my first ever tier list that I've made in my entire life. I always saw people do this on the internet. I'm like, that looks pretty cool, I guess. And then I had a point I wanted to do top fives because it seemed simple, easy, quick. Just think of 5 things that I like, my top 5 favorite, let's say, fire types, because they're up here. But then I thought, why not just include all of them and do a tier list? Now, as you can see, I have like Charizard. I don't have Charmander or Charmeleon, but I'm just gonna generalize all of the line into the final evolution. So this way we're not sitting here for 10 years. And I didn't include Silvally because otherwise I'm just gonna keep putting him on the list over and over and over and over again. So yeah, that's kind of the way I have it set up. Plus, if it's a regional variant that becomes a fire type like Marowak or Darmanitan, I put it there, but I put it in the region that they belong in. So, you know, Alolan Marowak, Alola, Galarian Darmanitan, Galar. So yeah, that's kind of it. Hit that like if you are ready to get into some tier lists, that subscribe if you want some more of these, and eventually some actual Gen 8 battling content. Building teams is hard, man. I don't know what it is, but that's a whole other video for another time. So let's get into this right here. We're gonna start off down the line through, you know, kind of how I have it in order. So starting off with the Kantomons, we have Charizard. Now Charizard it's a fan favorite of many. It evolves at decent areas like 16 and 36, how all starter mons usually end up having their line too. It has some nice physical moves as well as some special moves. The only thing that I don't like about Charizard is just how overrated it is. Like, you have your 2 Megas, which Mega X is the Zard that everyone always thought we should have, so I'm glad about that. And then there's Mega Y, which is also pretty cool. But then it gets a Gigantamax, and it's the only Kanto starter, or even better, only starter besides your Cinderace, your Inteleon, and your Rillaboom to actually make it into the game. So I'm pretty salty when it comes to this damn Fire Lizard. So because its Megas are really cool, and because its Megas are really cool, it should probably go here. Just strictly for its Megas. For itself, probably here. But because I'm salty, nah, I think we should keep it in B. I might change my mind about Charizard as we go. But next up is Ninetales. Now Ninetales is pretty cool because it's got Drought. Its special attack is not that great, but it's pretty damn speedy. At least in, you know, back in when base 100 was really fast, which is sort of the speed tier that we have nowadays. So, and also this is my cousin Cantonian Kurama here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Ninetales. Probably go ahead and it's either A or B. He's kind of a subpar fire type, so I'm kind of want to put it in B, because I don't really want to justify putting it above the Lord here, Lord Charizard. It has a pretty awesome, not really awesome, but it has an area that it inhabits in Mystery Dungeon with the whole taking the tails off, turning you into a Pokemon or whatever. So that's pretty cool for story, I guess, in there. And competitive, it's pretty nice low tiering fire user from what I remember. So yeah, B seems fine. Arcanine is easily A. Arcanine cannot go down lower than A in my opinion. This thing is pretty decently bulky, quite bulky. It runs defensive sets. Its choice band set with all that coverage is just great. And plus, look at this thing. Everyone wanted a freaking Arcanine when they were a kid. I am sure of it. This thing is super duper big, super fluffy. I'd want to bury my head in that goddamn mane. I know you would. I'm sure. So Arcanine gets A. I am very tempted to just toss it up here, but I don't know if he's S. We'll put him A for now. This whole list might change up as we go along. Rapidash, Fire Horse, pretty cool. Design-wise is very, very basic, because that's kind of just the mantra of Gen 1. You know, it's the first generation of Pokemon. Didn't want to make anything too flashy, plus probably couldn't, I don't know. So, I mean, it's an okay mon. I feel like it deserves D. Its moves are okay. It has Sword Stance, I think. The thing about Rapidash 2 is that if you got a Ponyta, you better grind that thing out, because it doesn't evolve till like the 40s. So that's a little rough, plus it's not really even worth it, so not in my eyes. So Rapidash goes down to D. Flareon, I love Flareon. It's probably one of my favorite evolutions, even though... No, actually, I don't really care for too many of them. I think a lot of them, I think design-wise, all the evolutions are pretty freaking awesome. So I like to put Flareon here in C. In 4th gen, it got a pretty nice buff in getting Flare Blitz, so it didn't have just, I don't know what it had. Flame Wheel or whatever as its only physical fire move, but even then it was special, so 4th gen did a really nice job with this thing. I also know, I don't really know how it does, but I know it has like a niche in the current Sword and Shield OU tier. Its viability is actually in there, which is crazy to see. You'd never see that in full decks. You'd only see that in this limited format. So I'm glad Flareon is getting the love that I think it deserves. I mean, I like Flareon. That's all I can say. I like it, but it's not great, you know? Like, it has just Eevee moves, and then Flare Blitz, Fire Fang, and Ember, probably. It's just not... It's got form syndrome, I think is what I'm going to call it, you know? Because it shares a lot of different traits and qualities as the other evolutions, except for it's a fire type, so it gets some fire moves. It's not like its fairy type counterpart Sylveon that also gets Psyshock and Mystical Fire now, so it's only so great. Although I really do like Flareon. Moltres is alright. I mean, I know in Gen 7 this thing popped off quite a bit, much more than it did in 6. I'm willing to go ahead and give it B. I mean, its design is pretty cool. It's my favorite one of the 3 birds, because this thing is just, I thought it was awesome to have a bird that was just on fire. So, but now that I'm looking at it and like it's alright, I mean, it's still design-wise one of my favorite birds. I really like all 3 birds design-wise actually, but Moltres always will have that special place in my heart. When I first found it on Mount Ember and I was playing Fire Red, I was like, oh my god, Master Ball this shit right away. Because I didn't play a Gen 1 game prior, so I didn't really know about Mewtwo in the cave, or even that you could get it. I just knew, that's a Moltres. That thing is crazy. Legend. Let's catch it. So yeah, I'm going to toss him in B for now. Probably going to stay there. Next up is Typhlosion. Everybody and they mamas loved their Typhlosion back in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Unless you're me and Jake, go ahead and peep that interview on the channel for PDL Season 5. So Typhlosion, I think it's alright. I mean, its spec set in Gen 7 was pretty nasty down in the lower tiers with Eruption and Hidden Power Grass and Extra Sensory and whatnot. In the sun, I'm sure it does really, really nice damage, but it's just it's all right. C is probably what the nostalgia factor of Typhlosion is what's saving it from D for me. So it's just gonna be chilling there in C for now. I might change it later. That's where Macargo lives, in D. This thing, again, doesn't evolve until like level 38. I remember I was playing my friend's Sapphire version, and he's like, hey, level up my Slugma for me for whatever reason. I don't know why. He just let me borrow it for, I don't know. So I was trying to train up the Slugma. It was so boring. so I didn't do it. Steven ended up doing it, but then I saw what level it was. I'm like, 38? That's strong as hell. That's too much. Plus, Magcargo sucks. Let's be real. Stats aren't great. Moves aren't great. Typing. Just a droplet of water kills it. Let's be real. Let's be real. Is there a way that we can... Did that do it? It did. Let's go F. Do you have a pink one? No, we don't want it pink. Let's make it blue. That's where Magcargo's going. That doesn't really change up. That kind of does. No. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Final answer for now. Houndoom. Houndoom's typing is pretty unique in Fire Dark in the Johto games where Dark type first came out, so that was really, really cool. I personally didn't know where to get it. I think you can't get it until Mount Silver, which is pretty ass, because what I don't understand is why it wouldn't want to push the agenda of its new typings. Like, I think the only dark types we really had, they were Umbreon, Murkrow, and Houndour and Houndoom. I think those were the only dark types we had at the time. And they didn't really push out dark types until you got to Kanto, which is really ridiculous. That's no fault of Houndoom itself. Mega Houndoom, I know, is pretty crazy in Sun, which when they allowed Sun back in UU, or Drought, rather, this thing was up there just tearing things up. I was using it and things were dying. Things were getting 2-hit KO'd. I think Blissey got 2-hit KO'd by Fire Blast from this thing in the sun. So that was nice. But Houndoom as a whole, I feel like he deserves there. Just because this thing's frail, not very fast. I mean, I don't know, man. Houndoom just doesn't hit me the right way like it did when I was younger. It might go up here just because it looks really cool like a Hellhound. Yeah, I'm gonna... We'll see how I feel about these guys down here. Entei is an absolute boss. Entei is an absolute boss. This thing in the freaking movie, it did not shudder. It didn't do nothing but stand there, look you down, like, yeah, what's up? I'm here. Got a problem? And nobody had a problem because it's fucking Entei, bro. So Entei stays up here in S. Arcanine, its little buddy, just might join him at some point, just kind of depending on how I look at the list and see. I'm kind of sort of comparing things, like I can't believe I have this Mon with this Mon, which is like, I was like, I can't believe, you know, and also when I made the new tiers, like there's no way I can keep Flareon down in D or whatever, in Typhlosion and C if there's 2 tiers below that, so there's that. Ho-Oh. Now, if you've been on the channel for long enough, you've known that Ho-Oh has been in two LPs. That's not saying too much since I don't have very many completed, but the 2 that I have completed that I can think of are the Avatar Lock, where we were Fire Nation, and then Steven and I, when we did the Ruby Sapphire Soul Link, he had a Ho-Oh named Buddha. So, I mean, so did I. I kind of named it after that. So this thing is it's just great. It's the first Pokemon that Ash really sees besides his Pikachu, I think. Maybe it's the first one he sees at all at the beginning of the anime. It has a whole ass tower. It made Entei, Suicune, and Raikou. This thing is just, it's out here being a legendary mon that it is. Climbing the bell tower to get it's a bitch. But other than that, Ho-Oh is great. It's just phenomenal. Its SPDF is really, really high too, which makes it nice and ubers. So of course he's getting the S. There's no way. I like how it's just the legendaries that are up in S, which is kind of lame, but whatever. Blaziken. Okay, speaking of things that deserve the S tier, Blaziken, at least in my eyes it does. I mean, when I first saw this thing, that was it. No other starter was for me. I love Torchic too, so in the show I was like, oh my god, Torchic. I saw the show before I actually got my first game, which was Pokemon Emerald. So just seeing Torchic up there and then just knowing about Blaziken too. That thing is a fire chicken, super fast, speed boost is broken as shit, so it's got that going for it. Plus it was the first one of them to get a Mega, which, I mean, Gen 3 love is nice, especially since it seems like Gen 1 gets lots of special treatment, which makes sense. It's the Pokemon Company's baby, it's Game Freak's baby, but at this point, Ruby and Sapphire have been around for goddamn 17 years. Almost 18 years, depending on when this video actually goes up. So, come on! It's old too, god damn it. So, I like Blaziken up in S. It's my favorite starter out of every starter in any game. So, there's that. Camerupt. I like Camerupt's design, don't get me wrong. That thing was raw in the anime too, and the Windstreak family had this thing, and it was just wrecking Ash's team. But I don't think this thing evolves until late either, or maybe am I getting that wrong? It might evolve at level 30 or so. I'm not sure. The app that I'm using to get my info has an ad right now, which is some rough shit. Let's see. Camerupt evolves at level 33, so that's not too bad. You get it at like 14, so it has to grow like twice, but I mean, whatever. Its Mega evolution is pretty nice in the lower tiers and has sheer force, so, and it loses its speed, so Trick Room, sheer force, boosted fire blasts and earth powers, and other attacks that it just has were great. Freaking amazing. But I don't have a lot of experience with Camerupt, so I'm kind of thinking just D. Even though its Mega is really nice. Because Camerupt's just sort of here otherwise. Okay, yeah, let's put him there. Torkoal. Torkoal, when it first came out, was nothing much to look at. I mean, Flannery in the anime made him look cool. Ash made him look cool too. But, I mean, Torkoal's just alright. At least when it came out. Nowadays, it's got, well, it always had nice defenses, but the physical special split helped it out, plus access to Drought made it, like, the best Sunsetter besides Ninetales, or maybe it's even better than Ninetales, I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of experience in Sun, but it's got Rapid Spin too, so there's only been blessings for it. I'm probably going to put it up here in B, just because of its roles in competitive, and that's really it. Besides that, it's whatever. Yeah, I'm okay with putting it in B. Camerupt might change to C later on, but who knows. Cast Form is just here because he's a fire type. The whole weather thing was a really, really cool concept, but I don't like that we didn't get Sand Cast Form. That's nothing against Fire Cast Form, but it also kind of falls under the form change syndrome that I'm talking about with Flareon, where it has all the same traits and whatnot that its other forms, Rainy and Hail form, have, but you know, it just has fire, and they're all kind of the same attacks. They have them, access to them, because you know it's always just base cast form, then it transforms. But its thing's stats are terrible, so you can't really use it. You're better off using literally any other fire type to abuse the sun, especially now that we have Weather Ball on pretty much every mon in Sword and Shield, so I don't feel bad about putting it in F. Primal Groudon. You ask anybody in Ubers, this thing is on every team. This thing I know had a big role in VGC as well. So this thing is probably going to just go up to S. Groudon is my favorite one of the Weather Trio, including Rayquaza. Yes, maybe. I don't know, maybe I put them on the same rung, but I like them both better than Kyogre. But I don't know about Primal, to be honest. I really don't. I mean, its Desolate Land ability is nice, and Precipice Blades is a really, really cool move, just seeing it animated on Showdown. But, I mean, I don't know if I want to put Groudon this high. I think I'm just going to toss him down here with Arcanine for now, just because I personally didn't have a lot of experience using Groudon, but well, I used it a couple of times in Ubers, and it was definitely on every Ubers team that I had, so I mean, yeah, it got the S spot from me. I was able to convince myself. Infernape, one of the latest members of the Chicago White Sox. I like the U-turn ability, I like the fake out, I like the Mach Punch and the Vacuum Wave. It's got a lot of nice things about it. Thing is, its attack stat is great for Gen 4 and Gen 5, but past that, especially in Gen 7, when just everything was power crept to the freaking absolute max. Infernape, really just design-wise and how cool it is, I like to put it in A, but I might just slot it down in B because of just how much more outclassed it is than everything else. But it's also got Stealth Rock, and it has Fear. Fear-like tactics as well that I never really utilized, to be honest. I should have. I thought about it, but maybe B. I'll keep him in. No, I like Infernape. You're going in A. I know I was one of the people that was mad about, you know, oh look, we have firefighting again, whoop-de-doo, but I like Infernape. He's staying in A. Magmortar is an interesting mon because it looks like a goddamn clown, which isn't bad. Not really. I know its move pool is quite wide. It has access to like Earthquake and Thunderbolt. I think it gets Fissure too. I might be wrong about that. Yeah, I'm probably wrong about that. I want to say it gets Energy Ball, but I'm not sure. It might not. I know Scarfed Magmortar does wonders in the NU tier for Gen 7 at least. We got Focus Blast, Thunderbolt, Earthquake, Psychic even, Rock Slide. Egg moves, we have nothing really to talk much about that just doesn't make sense already. So its move pool is pretty damn wide. I might just go ahead and put him in D though. Nah, let's put him in C. Its design's okay. Reminds me of a clown, reminds me of Dr. Eggman from Sonic, to be honest. Its arm cannons are cool too, its move pool is nice, but I mean it's Nah, I can't really justify putting it higher than C. So C is where it'll stay. I can see it being better than the guys in D, but I think the guys in B have it beat out, except for maybe Torkoal for me. So I can't really. It's gonna stay in C. I'm going back and forth like. Oh no. All right, so next up is Rotom Heat. I found this out recently just walking around campus one day, but I realized that my favorite Pokemon is actually Rotom. It's got all these different forms to it. They're all pretty much doing the same thing. They all can. It's got the Syndrome again, where it's a form, so it's pretty much just like all the other forms, except for it has something else, something that's a little bit different. But the base form of Rotom is just so useful too, because it can Volt Switch around. You got Screens, you have Will-O-Wisp because it is a former Ghost type, and then you just have Coverage Move on Coverage Move on Coverage Move whenever it comes to these different forms. And Rotom Heat, I know, is great right now. It's an OU because of its ability to run Scarf and trick things, which is great. So obviously, because Rotom is like one of my favorite mons of all time, it's gonna go into A. You're rarely gonna find a team that doesn't have a Rotom on it, I think. At least back in 6th and 7th gen. I can't talk too much about 8th gen because I've had things to do and just haven't looked into it too much. I know certain things, but I've used Rotom Heat a couple of times in Gen 8, and I thought it was pretty nice. I know games would have went way different if I didn't have it. So we're just gonna toss him up in A. I don't want to put him in S, even though Rotom is kind of like it's my favorite competitive mon, I'll say. But I think it belongs in A with the likes of Arcanine and Infernape. Heatran, I know everyone likes Heatran, and its typing is nice. Fire Steel is pretty nice. It can defend against dragons really well. It bops fairy types. But, I mean, ground types just look at it and it dies. But that's neither here nor there. That's why we have 6 on our team. But I was never with the Heatran wave when it came to Gen 7. I liked all the other S-tiered competitive OU mons. It's just Heatran that I'm like, maybe not. I like to put him in A. That's S. I don't want to put Heatran in S. I think A is just fine, because this thing is really useful. I do see the use. Plus the Stark Mountain stuff in DPP was really cool. I liked exploring that little cave, even though it has nothing really to do with Heatran. And in Oris, it was in that Scorched Slab. They actually made that thing a dungeon and had Heatran at the end of it. I thought that was really cool, because before it was just held Sunny Day and that was it. But now it's a freaking Heatran home, which is awesome. So just the lore around Heatran's really cool. I like it. We're gonna put him in A, even though I'm not really with him on competitive. But Hephaestus the Heatran on the Black randomized avatar lock put in some nice work on the team. So that in and of itself is worth its A. Victini, a member of a beta test version of the Chicago White Sox, but this thing is really cool. I really like the fact that you can it's got the moves that Zekrom, Kyurem, and Reshiram have. Fusion Bolt, Fusion Flare, I think it has. I know it has Searing Shot, and it gets Glaciate too. So its moves are just really awesome to begin with. And then it's got Psychic stored powers. Z Celebrate stored powers. Great. You can just run Banded, Scarfed. I'm getting excited talking about Victini already. I'm going to put him up here in S. He's a nice little pixie. I like the pixies a lot. Its ability makes moves hit better, like Focus Blast and Fire Blast. I know I said wrong freaking grammar, but who cares? It's Victini. Victini's just a cool mod. I like him. Plus, its typing is Fire Psychic, which up until now we've never seen Fire Psychic, so it's very unique. Emboar. Now, Emboar, when I first saw it, was when I was playing Pokemon Black. At this time, I knew absolutely nothing about anything within these games. Now, before the games came out, I know everything was leaked. I don't know if it was leaked or if they just put it up there when, before the game came out, like around the time, I think. I know I saw the site and I saw a bunch of different mods. I'm like, okay, I want that one on the team, and that one on the team, that one on the team, and then I forgot everything, because that's just the way I do things. I just forget everything. And then when I picked Tepig pretty much because, I saw it in the Black and White show, and it looked like it was doing the most. It was when Ash was battling the Striton Gym triplets, so his Tepig was doing the best in that match. And I'm like, you know what? I like this guy. I'm picking Tepig. And then when that Pignite just evolved into this big, massive, meaty man pig, I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? What is this? Had a little bit of hiccup, but we are back. So, well, yeah, like I was saying with Emboar, what is this? Blah, 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 blah. So Emboar was really cool for me then. Nowadays, it's I'm going to just toss him and see. Its wow factor was great, but just it overall, not really. I mean, I never really used it in competitive, so I could be wrong, but it's just too damn slow. I know it hits like a truck, but it's just so slow that it'll die before it gets a chance. Simisear, probably my least favorite Simi. I'll toss him here. It evolves through Firestone, but it doesn't get a worthwhile move of it known as Crunch, or at least this is true for Simisage until like level 41. So I was sitting there with the Simisage forever. And I don't know if this thing is better on the special side than the physical side, but I'm sure it is. But I mean, the Simis were god-awful. They're nice, they're cool. It's interesting that they get Blaze, Overgrow, and Torrent as their hidden abilities, like the starters did have regular, but they're really nothing too great, in my opinion. Big Darmanitan, Big Darmy. Oh my goodness, this thing scarfed even back in Gen 5, 6, and 7, or at least 6 and 7 at least, where it is just a big old menace. I was considering drafting Darmanitan for a couple of seasons now, because I know Hammer Arm destroys things, Flare Blitz destroys things, and Earthquake, and then U-Turn, and then you have the Scarf, you can Bandit. It's just a big, massive, meaty man. And look at that smile. You know it's up to no good right already off the bat. Like, Darmanitan's is really cool. One of those designs that whenever I talk about how Gen 5's designs are not all bad, I immediately mention Darmanitan as one of those that just stand out. Really, really good. Really solid. I like Darmanitan. Chandelure also has that reputation of being a really, really cool designed fire type. Also a really interesting and unique typing in Ghost Fire. We haven't had a Ghost Fire type up until this moment. Rotom Heat doesn't count. And it was really cool. The only thing that I don't like about Chandelure is just it suffers from Unova syndrome when I have so many syndromes that we have on this goddamn video already. But it suffers from the same thing that every mon in the Unova region suffers from. It's just, it takes so long to level them up, because Litwick doesn't evolve until like level 41, and then you need a Dusk Stone to evolve Lampent. So Chandelure, design-wise, is amazing. It's shiny is really, really cool, and that's what saves it for me. I think Darmanitan also... No, that might just be level 30 something. I know in my Pokemon Reborn run I'm doing right now, just on my own, I have a Darmanitan at least. I don't really have it in the team, but I at least evolved one recently. I think it was like 37. Yeah, Darm actually evolves at level 35. So, yeah, that's not too bad. It's kind of like the same thing with Camerupt. So Chandelure's design and typing is really what puts it up here for me. If it didn't have either of those things, it'd probably be over here, just because of how ridiculous it takes your freaking Litwick to level up. You practically need to rare candy that thing. It's not going to live anything for training, so, or grinding. Either one, it's interchangeable. I just talked myself down. No, Chandelure's design is great. It's staying up there. I love Chandelure. Heatmore it's here because it's kind of just here, you know. Heatmore doesn't have much to him. I'd never seen him used. I never used him. He's just here. I don't have anything to really say about Heatmore. Volcarona, however. Volcarona, you get like either A or B spot. You're better than all these guys, so I'm just gonna toss you up an A. And Chandelure's gonna go down to B. I just decided, because I did that check. I'm like, it's definitely better than Chandelure. So Volcarona's design is pretty dope. I mean, look at this thing. It's the Sun Moth. It's great. You have to travel into the depths of the freaking Relic Castle to get it. Unless you're playing Black and White 2, then you can just get it right off the rip by going through the sewers. It's not the sewers. I don't know, I think around Driftvale City is when you can get it. I haven't played Black and White 2 in a long time, but you can get it earlier there. But the big issue with Volcarona, again, is Larvesta doesn't evolve until like level 57 or 59. So you're going to have a Larvesta for a long time, and I hope you have some TMs for that bitch, because I don't think its level up moveset's very great. Or at least its beginning level up moveset doesn't, it's not good at all. So, but Volcarona just in competitive is really good. It's got that Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz, you know, Fire Move. I like Volcarona. I kind of wish I did end up drafting it at some point, but never ever did. It just sucks that it's 4 times weak to rock, but we got heavy duty boots, so we don't need to give a shit. On to Reshiram. Now, some people, most people, like to say that Zekrom is their favorite one of the Tao Trio. I think that's the Tao Trio. Whatever one has Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem. But I'm one of the select few that actually favors Reshiram, because I just like how elegant it looks. At this time, it was our first fire dragon type, and it was just very confusing why we didn't have a fire dragon type in the first place, considering it's like the first thing you think of when you see dragons is, you know, fire, because they breathe fire usually. So yeah, Reshiram's really cool. However, I'm not going to put it up here in S because I haven't really used it at all. It's not really all that great in Ubers from what I can understand. Like, there's so many better things you could use. I don't want to put it in A. I can't. If I had an A- tier, I'd be putting Reshiram there. So I'll just put him in here because I can't put him here with these B guys. I can't do it. Yes, I can. You're going down there. No, I can't. It just looks weird, you know. It looks weird, but it looks weird putting him in S, so he's going to stay in A. Reshiram's for A. Okay, so Delphox. I actually really like Delphox. A lot of people say that it sucks, but I like it design-wise. Also, it got a typing that was only originally found on a legendary Pokemon, Victini. So it's Fire Psychic, really, really cool. It's a special, like its signature move, Mystical Fire, kind of is really, really not great, but eh. So, but also, all of that being said, I'm gonna just kind of put it in D because, you know, it's outshined by its other mons, but it doesn't belong in F with these guys. But I really do like its design. I really like the witchy aspect that that Delphox has. I had it in my Pokemon Y run. It was pretty cool. But I mean, it's just you know. Talonflame is just gonna go here into C. I feel like it belongs there since Gale Wings got nerfed, which isn't its fault, but it's just something that's attached to it. It got nerfed twice, maybe. I know, no, it was just once. Because it used to just run rampant in OU. It was like our Dracovish, but back up in X and Y. And then Gale Wings got nerfed, which made it only have the priority with its flying moves if, you know, it was at full HP. So not really that great. So it's going to go in C because while it may be speedy, its attack stats really ass. So yeah. Pyroar, I like your design, but you're going to go in D because while you're really fast and you're pretty strong, your ability does nothing for you in Moxie because you're a special attacker, and then your other ability kind of sucks. I do like female Pyroar better than male Pyroar, though. It was just something about the long strand that I like. It's better than the big mane. I like female Pyroar better. So I like your design, but just using you just doesn't sound like a fun idea. Not really. Volcarona, I'm tossing you in B because, again, never really used. That's not Volcarona, that's Volcanion. Never really used you. I don't like that you came out like at the end of Gen 6. At the end of Gen 6 is when you decided to rear your ugly head. I'm sorry, Volcanion. You're not ugly. You yeah, I don't know. Post in the comments, I guess. Yeah, Volcanion is just okay. I don't think it's In my opinion, it's alright. Its fire water typing is really, really cool. I think we should have had that sooner, to be honest, but that stuff's really cool. I don't think it belongs any lower than B, but I don't like it in my A's. Definitely can't have it in my S's if my A's don't want them there, so it's going to stay in B. Incineroar. Season 4 member of the Chicago White Sox because of its Intimidate ability. This thing was like the face of VGC since it got that ability up until current year with Sword and Shield, until it comes back eventually. And it's got a great move pool with support as well as just hard hitting, so it's great. I think it deserves B for all of that. I think that's fair. It's not one of my favorite starter Pokemon. It's definitely not something that I picked in Sun and Moon, but so yeah, it's gonna be B. Oricorio suffers from the form stuff, and Oricorio is just really, really weird because it gets a bunch of flying type moves, which is fine, but then Revelation Dance is its only fire move that it gets to level 41, and its ability was good on paper. Like, it can copy dance moves like Dragon Dance and stuff, but it's a special attacker, and there's no special moves that are dance moves, or at least that raise your special attack, so you're really just raising your speed stat, which I think is already decent. And I wanted a ghost type of you, but I couldn't get it until Pony Island, so I couldn't do that. So, screw you, Oricorio. You're staying down there in F. I really like Salazzle, man. I really like Salazzle. It's going to B at the lowest. Its poison fire typing is the first that we've seen, which is really, really cool. Closest to that is Houndoom, which has access to Sludge Bomb. But other than that, yeah, it's just Salazzle. I like its height. I think it's interesting that its hierarchy where only the female evolves into Salazzle. I mean, it looks just, regular female, so it makes sense. But I don't have a problem at all with Salazzle. Shiny Salazzle looks dope too. Its ability in corrosion lets toxic things. But I haven't really used Salazzle a whole lot. But it's gonna go up. It's here in B. It's fast. It hits decent. It's got a nice pool. I'm putting it up here in A. I don't know, it looks a little weird, but I think it deserves A. Alolan Marowak. This boy hits hard, and it's in Kiawe's trial, which was quite funny when I first saw it. You don't expect that hiker just to be in there, so that's really cool. Plus, this thing is like a freaking fire dancer. It's great. It just captures the Alolan. It captures the Alolan atmosphere of being an islander region. So I think it's a really, really great fire type. Plus, it's good in Trick Room, and it looks dope. So Turtonator, I like that its typing is Fire Dragon. Again, we didn't see that except for Reshiram and Zard X, so an actual regular Pokemon getting a typing of a legendary is really, really cool, in my opinion. But I didn't really use Turtonator all that much. Actually, I did try it in Dragon Monotype, and I was very, very disappointed. I don't think it belongs in F, but I think it goes in D. Turtonator's just okay. Blacephalon. This thing was introduced in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It is the only ghost type in OU as far as Generation 7 goes, if I remember correctly. I used it a couple of times when it first came out, and then not really much after that. This opponent just messing up some freaking low ladder people with Mind Blown and Scarfed antics. I'm just gonna toss them in B because I don't really want to put them in A. I think honestly if I had a B+, it'd just go there. I mean, its design is okay. We're gonna put you in C. Cinderace, the next freaking Greninja, except for a little bit more specific with the physical moves, and also has access to Court Change, which switches all the hazards and screens and special effects on each side. So that's really cool, Mon. I really like Cinderace. It's like everyone's freaking favorite now. So its design it's not exactly what I was expecting, to be honest. I was hoping for Fire Electric or Fire Fairy with Protean. So that would be really cool, but its speed tier is just insane for Galar. And its attack stat is phenomenal as well. I see Cinderace and I think this thing's gonna switch up my hazards. This thing's gonna just, especially when it gets its Libero, it's gonna just change its type all over the place. It's gonna be a less centralizing Greninja, I think. It's not gonna be Greninja, but it's gonna be pretty damn close. So I think that's A. Centiskorch. I don't know much about Centiskorch. I just know that its G-Max form is like a freaking big-ass Chinese dragon looking thing. It is the next Volcarona, in typing only, and it evolves at level 28, so you're not going to be sitting there with a Sizzlipede for very long. But because I don't have a lot of experience with it, I'm just going to put it in C. I don't have Sword or Shield or a Switch, so can't really say much. Colossal. I saw this thing and I was like, this thing's going on my team. I love Rock Fire type that isn't Slugma. Its ability and steam engines are really, really cool because it gets just +6 right off the bat when it comes to speed when it's hit by a water move. You just better hope that it lives. It's a nice rocker. You make contact with it with Flame Body, you might get burnt, so I think you get a C for me. Just because, again, don't have a lot of experience with you. But that might change later on, just in the future. Last but not least, we have Galarian Darmanitan Zen mode. Now this thing is really, really cool. Look at this design. It's got that snowman up top with that flaming freaking nose. And it's just, it smiles on the bottom there. I don't even know how it gets there in that Zen mode, but it's just amazing looking. And the reason that it's not coupled in with Darmanitan is because it's Galarian Darmanitan. It's a completely different mon, more or less. This Zen mode's actually really, really good. Its speed stat is like base 160 or something like that, and its base attack stat is close to that number as well. So Belly Drum, Salicberry freaking things. It looks really, really nice. Unfortunately, as of this video, Darmanitan Galarian form, whichever one you want to use, be it Zen or Guerrilla Tactics, is banned from OU. So I might be putting this thing in an Uber's team and just playing around with it. But because this thing is just, it gets me really, really excited. I really like the Zen mode here. It's going up in A. So, kind of taking a last look at this tier list, I think it's pretty much solidified to this. I like it a lot. Comment down below if you like my tier list. Maybe if you make some changes to what I have here, you can go ahead and just let me know that in the comments below. And I guess put down also what type you want to see next. If not, I'll just pick one. I got no problem with that. Anyway, subscribe if you haven't already. And with all that being said and more, this has been your boy, SnowyKurama. See you in the next video. Goodbye.